shoot me a question. I'll try to help you out. So tilts down, the weight kind of goes, you'll feel it go down to your heels, sort of the center of your heels if you do it correctly. Now, weight's down there, okay? Remember to keep that rounding from the pelvis. Now, pelvis is tilted, and make sure it's almost as if you're sitting down a little bit, okay? As if there's a little bit of a bench just underneath your rear end. Now, it's just underneath it, meaning you don't go back to sit on it. You go straight down. This causes the hips here to sink, sort of create a groove here. This is what we want. If the front of our hips to our belly, or sort of our thigh to our belly via our hips is smooth, one line, that's not what we want. We want it to be sunk so that there's almost a C shape here. That, in conjunction with the pelvis tilting, connects our upper body to our lower body, okay? Basic alignment. From here, you actually create a shape which works with breathing and the dantian and is essential to push hands, qigong, and all internal martial arts. It's also going to be the basic thing we work with to get into posture at the office, with sports, with everything. So you're really going to want to get comfortable with this, get used to it, feel what your specific alignment is. Okay, again, this is what you're basically going to be doing, but you might have, I might be a 6-degree shift, you might be a 5.5-degree shift. There's a lot of variables, even day to day, that adjust that for each person. So it's going to constantly shift ever so slightly, but this is basically what you're going to be doing. All right, so this is now the upper body connected to the lower body via the adjustments in the pelvis, then grounded via the shape of the legs and the feet on the ground. Now, right now, the upper body is still disjointed, meaning we don't have a proper balance and alignment through our chest, between our, basically our belly and our head up here, okay? So what you want to do is, from the pelvic tilt, right, start to feel how when the pelvis tilts, the lower back straightens out. Feel how that can allow you to then sort of stack your spine. As your spine stacks, right, you can straighten up. Good. Now that you're straightened up, let your belly relax into your pelvic floor, okay? As your belly relaxes to the pelvic floor, you'll feel more weight push through your heels. Your belly should also start to relax. The next thing is, since the belly's relaxed, it almost creates a ball. In my case, it's a beach ball. You might have a little tennis ball. It doesn't matter. It's still sort of a ball-like shape. Let the ribs fall down towards that shape. So the ribs relax. They're no longer being held up by their own tension. They're relaxed and held up both by that ball as well as the spine that's now erect. Now let the shoulders relax onto your ribs. Now by shoulders, I don't just mean this, which is kind of being kept where it is by your collarbone, right? I'm actually talking also about your whole shoulder blade area. Let all of this relax onto the ribs, okay? And just kind of let, again, the ribs, shoulder blades relax onto the ribs onto your dantian, your stomach into your pelvic floor, into that structure of the pelvis, that structure into the shape of the legs, into the shape of the feet and toes, and then into the ground, okay? And all of that is also draped off of the spine that was stacked via the pelvic tilt, creating a foundation to then stack each vertebrae up, 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 up. Then continue that now, that stacking, till it leaves your body and goes up in a straight line from about here, okay? Not in the front of your head, not in the back, right about here, as if the spine were to just go straight through your head, right? And then tie that, imagine that goes way up to the sky somewhere, to a cloud or top of a tree, something high up, maybe even your ceiling if you can't really visualize the sky. Maybe you're in an office building. Whatever the case is, somewhere up in the sky, and have it tied off. Okay, so your spine's still stacked, but now that it's tied, now in a sense, let your spine also hang from that. This is important because if you don't do this, meaning you don't tie it off and let it hang a little bit, you get too much static structure. When static structure happens like that, you actually create tension and you actually hurt the alignment. Alignment is actually not static, it's constantly changing, and we're going to get into what that's about both later on in different applications and different scenarios, and a lot more on the website itself, just due to the time constraints and as well as the format of the website versus this show. But going back to this alignment thing, if you simply stack it up and do everything else I said, it'll feel good for the first minute or so, but after a while, tension is going to pop up. In this case for me right here, a little bit in different places, because you're now fighting to keep a static structure. You're not actually allowing balance to happen, true alignment to happen. You're actually forcing an alignment, and therefore it's not, I would call, true or harmonious, or at least it's not internal alignment. So by having this tie up here and having, in a sense, your spine hanging from that, you add in a little bit of flexibility. Now, within that, allow your spine to undulate as it needs to and wants to. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but basically this is going to happen. It could be that big, but in general it's going to be a bit smaller. Now, as your spine shifts, you're going to feel that your weight in your belly shifts, and that's going to shift and feel it shifting as how it's distributed through your feet a little bit. So it's all constantly changing. And now next week, with the synergy with breath, the breath's going to then become a part of this equation. But for now, feel how that's shifting. Now this is structure. It's aligned. It's static in the sense that you're not walking, you're not moving, but it is stationary, but it's not static, and it's not like a statue. If it was, it would not really be correct alignment. Correct alignment is never static. It could be standing here and it could be walking, but no matter what I'm doing, there's constantly rebalancing happening, and we'll get into what that is more in the future. Suffice it to say, for now, it's going to involve allowing the spine to hang. So although the spine is being propped up from what's underneath, it's also being hung from what's above. This allows, again, this little shifting to happen. For now, we won't involve the arms, because arms can be done in lots of different ways. This is basic structure. Basic structure is what we're going to use specifically for Qigong and for every other internal thing we do here. It has implications for sports. So, you know, golf club, lifting things at work, sitting down is a variation of this structure. Breathing actually works with this structure. Structure is necessary, or I should say alignment is necessary for anything done internally. This is the case because anything internal needs to have conduits. The conduits then connect it through its nexus. For our body, the nexus is right here, physically. Proper alignment, proper structure, is the ability, or are those conduits, I should say, are those conduits. So to create proper basic structure, we need to allow, in this point, the gross, most major conduits to connect. There's lots of subtlety going on that we didn't talk about yet, but that follows the same principle as this. Whether we're standing here for an hour or we're doing intricate movements or simple movements, the same structure is there. Get used to it standing, get used to the feel, because you're going to want that present in everything we do from here on out, whether it's with us on the show, on the website, on your own, doing your own thing. You're going to want to have this as the base. So please practice, get used to it, ask any questions. The breathing, as a review, is important for relaxation. It's also what enlivens or gives animation to the structure, and we'll get into that next show. Enjoy breathing and finding your alignment. I'll see you next show. Bye.